Hey everyone, Justin Holland here with the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. Welcome to this week's show. We actually had a few recordings the past few weeks. It's been a busy few weeks for us in this industry, so we're glad to be back. We definitely have some updates that I think are going to be important and resonate with our listeners and our viewers online. So can't thank y'all enough for liking and subscribing our online YouTube handle. That's YouTube .com/mad insurance show. So we hopefully that you can get on there and take a look at the YouTube channel that we've got with video clips, the entire shows, and all the value that we're trying to get out there regarding the insurance industry and all segments of the industry. But again, that handle is youtube.com / at madinsuranceshow.com. If you Google it, I'm sure you'll find it without a problem. But the Mad Insurance Show is here to talk about everything insurance, and we're going to dive into some pretty cool topics. I'm your host. I'm Justin Holland with Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. Texas State Insurance Services is our insurance arm where we focus more on Medicare plans for seniors, individual health insurance options for the individual and family, as well as small group plans, where we help out that small business that just needs a benefits plan to offer their valued employees. Palmetto Life Group is a division that we created for life insurance, long-term care planning. Sometimes we'll help out with a retirement rollover, 401k. And recently we've added auto and home insurance. We're pretty excited about that. We're helping people out every year with their health insurance and shopping that. It just made sense for us to add that to the portfolio because we've built up a good amount of trust over the past 12 years in the health insurance industry. I've got clients that are just saying, hey, Justin, can you just have your organization shop it for us and keep everything in line? And then that way we can look at everything annually off of that as well. But I am going to kick things off to talk about Medicare. So Medicare just wrapped up. Their annual enrollment period ended on Sunday, December 7th. I was actually in my McAllen office for a few days down in South Texas, deep South Texas, um, taking care of some Medicare clients and individual health insurance clients and some of our group insurance clients. But we were ultimately enrolling people through the deadline till about 1 in the morning. That's just kind of the bottleneck that we typically see. We've seen it for years. It's not uncommon, but those clients that we just hadn't visited yet or needed to revisit and needed to make a decision on their prescription drug plan, on their Medicare Advantage plan, we were helping people get across the finish line, so to speak, for December 7th. And we haven't been able to catch our breath just yet because the Affordable Care Act individual deadline is coming up Monday, the 15th. So when you listen to this show on Saturday or Saturday evening, just know that you've got until Monday, December 15th, to make a decision on your individual health insurance plan on making any changes for an effective date of January 1st. So that's important. The overall Affordable Care Act individual health insurance deadline is January 15th for a February 1st effective date. And then you can enroll without a special election, a loss of coverage, or where you might qualify to insure yourself and enroll in a plan outside of the annual enrollment for the individual health insurance. So those are key deadlines that I want to make sure that we're crystal clear on. If you're on individual health insurance or you went this year without any health insurance, you're not on with your employer sponsored plan for whatever reason, or you just, didn't get onto an individual plan last year and you're wishing you had, again, December 15th is the deadline. We will absolutely be helping individuals out at the Texas State Insurance Services offices. I'm not sure if I'll be in San Antonio or deep South Texas helping out our clients, but we will be helping out quite a few remotely through our online portals and links. So December 15th, Monday, is the deadline to get effective coverage for January 1st. You get one more shot if you miss that deadline. Unless you lost coverage and have a qualifying event, we can get you January 1 coverage. I've got individuals and clients that are coming off of a group sponsored plan for whatever reason, and they've ultimately got a qualifying event. where we can get them a January 1st coverage date. But as far as the annual enrollment period, you need to make sure that, hey, get your application in by the 15th. We'll be able to help you shop that and get that done so you can have coverage effective January. After that 15th deadline, it's a mad dash until January 15th, which is your last opportunity to enroll in individual health insurance for a February 1st effective date. But went off on a tangent on the enrollment period there. I want to talk about Medicare because that's what we had wrapped up on Sunday. And I would tell you, we helped a lot of people out, had some last minute disruptions on Medicare plans there here locally in San Antonio, and I believe it was statewide. You know, there were some carriers and providers that weren't going to accept each other's coverage or work out a deal or a contract, which was going to cause some changes for insureds that needed to continue seeing a specific doctor that might have been in that network. So we were able to help some people pivot on that. I think they came to a resolution. It looks like, or that's kind of the rumor there, but it was definitely something that got thrown in the mix last minute for the annual enrollment period. Now, if you missed the deadline to change your health insurance plan through the annual enrollment period, reach out to us if you can, because there could have been an opportunity for a special enrollment period. There's the disaster declarations. You might qualify with a chronic condition or qualify for a dual eligibility on your Medicare. Those are scenarios where you're able to basically take advantage of a special enrollment and be able to change your Medicare plans. A lot of people don't realize that. They just think they're stuck in that option. Medicare doesn't promote it a lot, but it is available to the consumers, and you just need to do some research on that and take a look at what you could possibly do for changing your plan outside of your annual enrollment period. Annual enrollment period is typically where you want to make those changes to kick off the new year. But let's see if they change things into the new year for Medicare legislation as well, because I'm seeing a lot of shakeup in the health insurance industry. I mean, just bringing up the provider issue and the carrier that created some disruption. As I mentioned on some of the prior shows, people were losing their Medicare Advantage plan. It was going away. They were just it was just out. Sometimes the carriers in some particular areas where they would renew a current plan, but they wouldn't offer it anymore moving forward. And there's a lot of stuff online in our industry that a lot of people are arguing on how some of these carriers are, really not staying within the guidelines of Medicare. And that'll be addressed, I'm sure, more into the new year once legislatures kind of get a handle off that, or here locally with the Texas Department of Insurance. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. We've been so busy as an agency brokerage helping our clients that we just have not been able to focus on that political aspect and legislation aspect of the industry because we're busy. We're focused on taking care of these clients for the insurance companies as well, promoting and shopping the plans and options. So we'll go into a little bit more detail on that in the future, but that's definitely disrupt the industry for us on our side of the business, the agency and brokerage side, specifically the health insurance on the individuals. So the Medicare annual enrollment period was no question dynamic, exciting changes, and we helped out a lot of people. So if for some reason you did not have a annual review with your agent, let us know and let's take a look at your health insurance options. For whatever reason, you just didn't have a time to look at it, but you got time now. We'll look at your plans and options any time of the year. So just let us know, and you can reach us at Texas State Insurance Service. The phone number there is 210-880-5316, and we'd love to help and look at your individual health insurance options even outside of the annual enrollment periods. Maybe you have a group health insurance plan that's already renewed and you want a second look at that. You're just not, you think there could have been more done. There very well could have been more done, and we would be happy to help look at those options for you. So reach out to us at Texas State Insurance Services, 210-880-5316, or you can visit us online at txstateinsurance.com, complete our contact form, and we'll have the ladies in the office reach out to you, and we'll line up a visit with me personally and directly. I handhold pretty much every application, even when if I've got another agent working on a thing, just know that I've got eyes on it and we want to help you. I think that's important to know. I think that gives peace of mind for the consumer, whether it's a Medicare enrollment plan for a senior or a individual health insurance plan for a family or individual, or our group benefits clients. I was just in Laredo yesterday morning taking care of a few clients down there, clients that have become friends, and it's nice because we've been helping them for 5 years now, and we've kept and helped created a healthy benefits portfolio for them. It's been engaging with or engaged and well received from their valued employees. So just know that you're dealing with an agent that is hands on. I have no problem getting to employee benefits meetings that we roll out for our clients. I'm pretty much there on almost all of them. It's very rare, maybe that I'm sick, but if your agent broker isn't in the trenches and really trying to help your employees understand and help with a healthy participation and have a ground floor look at what's going on, it might be time to shop. Okay. So we're absolutely here to help you take a look at those options for the small group benefits plans or the Medicare and individual health insurance that we'll talk about here as well. Um, Something that I think is important to bring up and talk about, we just wrapped up talking about Medicare, and I can go on a little bit longer, but I don't have all that time for the show, is the situation that we're facing right now in an unresolved crisis that I think is really under the radar. I think it's making some headlines, but it's just not as important as people realize or understand. And that's these Affordable Care Act expanded subsidies during the COVID era that are expiring at the end of this month, December 31st. Millions of people are going to be affected by their individual health insurance, ultimately skyrocketing. And it is really hurting many of our clients. I mentioned a minute ago, 12 years is what I've been spending in the Affordable Care Act. I got into this industry because of the Affordable Care Act. I saw a disruption in this industry. I was in a whole nother industry at the time. And I was like, you know what? This is something that I'm going to engage and try to help people with and build a business with. So I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, and the really ugly scenarios of the Affordable Care Act. I've seen it all, and there's been good. There's been bad, and then there's been some really serious situations where I'm like, man, this is something's got to give. And 12 years in the making, we're here. We're watching the health insurance industry break, and I stressed this on another show that I had a few weeks ago, and it's I don't know how this is gonna shake out, but back to these expanded subsidies going away, just for an example, and I brought this up on another show, we had somebody going from, $1,800 a month for their family to almost $4,000, okay? You can't I don't care who you are, that's expensive to anybody as far as health insurance premiums. So we'd really like to engage our legislatures. I mean, I mentioned that I was in Laredo taking care of some clients down there, and as I was driving in to San Antonio, I got a phone call from who's my rep, Tony Gonzalez, an automated message saying, "Hey, I'm having a town hall. Dial in, or would you like to listen?" I was like, "Heck yeah, let me get on the phone." So I'm hightailing it from Laredo back to San Antonio last night, and operator came on. She was like, "Hey, what's your question?" Because they were allowing us to have questions to Tony, and I was like, "Man, I got to find out his take on this because I really haven't seen much online from him and others." And I'm going to go through the other congressional leaders that I'm hoping I get to have on the show or have a conversation with on what we're facing here for their constituents, our clients, and what we can try to see about helping with them. But I was on the phone and the phone got disconnected, and I'm sitting there trying to call back in. I don't know if I was in the next in line to be able to talk to Tony, But ultimately, I wanted to take. I want to say, hey, listen. And I found out last night when I got back home, they're basically, as I'm recording the show for the week, talking about this hopefully today on what's going to happen with these expanded subsidies. And I get it. I understand that the right side of our leadership is got a problem with the expanded subsidies. Nothing's been fixed. But the right side has not argued or brought too many alternatives for the past 12 years either. Okay. We had Obamacare come in. That was a legacy, one of the biggest pieces of legislation at the time that had come in. But um, nobody's getting anything done. Even the Trump administration, when they came in 2016, they're like, hey, you know what? We're going to make it better. We really didn't see that. Okay, I will tell you, with the expanded subsidies that they did with the Affordable Care Act during that COVID era helped many people. A lot of our clients for years could not afford the individual health insurance, and that legislation coming in, even though it's temporarily helped them, saved them thousands of dollars, gave them access to insurance for themselves, for their kids. Some of these people have very serious chronic issues, or they had children with some significant issues, and this gave them a lifeline for that. So I was hoping to talk to Tony on it. If Tony and his team sees me on this video online, man, I'd love to sit down and talk to you. You can reach out to us directly at Texas State Insurance Services. We are passionate about our clients, and those are your constituents. So I tried. I tried to get a take from my rep, Tony Gonzalez, but there's other reps here in San Antonio, and some of these individuals I've met over the years. Tony, I met briefly. Joaquin Castro, I met years ago with the Affordable Care Act. I was on the Health Underwriters Board, and I was helping out the legislature chair make some visits regarding the Affordable Care Act. And we stopped Joaquin Castro's office and had a few moments there at the office locally. But I'd love to revisit almost 10 years later and see if we can kind of assess what's going on with their constituents. And I saw online, it looks like that, let's see here, because I pulled up some stuff. They are addressing, so Joaquin Castro's office was addressing the healthcare premiums are soaring. And this was during the Republican shutdown drags on. So they were going back and forth off of that. In Joaquin Castro's district, right here that we're almost recording in San Antonio, 87,000 people in San Antonio district are at risk of seeing their premiums skyrocket. So, again, I'm seeing Congressman Joaquin Castro for the 20th District of Texas. They see that, they've put it on their website, and they're trying to address it. I brought up Tony Gonzalez, and I don't think I saw anything on that unless that was actually another Congressman Gonzalez that I saw some headlines. So hopefully I can talk to Tony and talk and review that, as well as Joaquin Castro, and really have an idea of the details that I can provide my clients. We have thousands of people that we help out with their insurance, and I want them to know that they've got an agent broker sticking up for them and trying to make sure legislatively we're seeing some changes that are going to benefit them. So, those are just two individuals in Congress that we brought up. Representative Trip Roy, I actually met him in DC at his DC office during a Capitol visit, and very nice guy, intense. He was direct. He's no nonsense there, which I can appreciate, and I actually kind of liked. And his office actually had a handle on the health insurance and the cost and just the kind of the mess that we're dealing with. And he's actually got an agenda on his website that he was promoting. So if you can take a look at what Chip Roy put out there for that, he's obviously looking at a state position that he's running for. But he's one of those congressional leaders that no doubt was trying to address it, bringing up the fact that HSAs, health savings accounts, we really got to revamp that. There's no value there just yet. You've got the triple threat on taxation, not a threat, but a advantage on the HSAs. So hopefully we'll see some savings come by legislation where, hey, use the consumer. If you're bankrolling that or leveraging the exposure on your health insurance for major situations and taking and or socking money away into these self savings accounts that they're talking about revitalizing or to be honest, I'm not sure what they're going to do, and let's see what happens there. Okay, because the premiums are just not working. When you've got an individual needing to spend $12,000 a year or more just for premium, just for a single person, or 3 to 4 times that for their family, it's broken. We got to fix that. So, looked up Chip Roy online and had a nice visit with him a few years ago. Henry Quaid, I didn't see anything online other than just some political articles that were tied to his name. But we'll reach out to Henry Quaid's office as well that handles South Texas into the Laredo area where I was at yesterday visiting clients of ours, and then Greg Kassar is also a new congressman, and we have not visited with him. I've not met him, but I'm going to reach out to his office as well and see if we can sit down, either break some bread, stop by the office, have a phone call, just to see if they've got some initiatives on the health insurance situation that we have because it's a crisis. I mean, we've got a major problem, and agent brokers like ourselves are limited on what we can do to help, and we take that personally. We really take pride at our brokerage to provide value, look at every scenario and option for our valued clients, and not just them, but our valued group clients that are offering employee benefits to their employees and to their trusted and valued employees. So it just comes full circle, hopefully soon. And as of today, we haven't heard anything. Hopefully, I'll have an update later today that I can have on the next show, or we can post online. I will tell you when I'm wrapping up on the congressional leaders that I want to visit with, Greg Kassar. It looks like he's addressing some of the health insurance issues as well online, so they've got that on the site. So to be continued. Let's see if we can patch this up. I get the fact that you got one side saying, "Hey, we got a mess here. These tax credits and these premiums or whatever, they get absorbed by the insurance companies." Man, we it needs to be fixed. But try to help that middle class family out and just get this limped along. Don't just strip it from them because there's no other solution. Nobody's brought any solution to the table on both sides of the aisle, and a lot of people are going to get hurt with this. And I think it's going to, if they don't have a resolution to extend it, I think you're going to see a significant uproar, and people are going to be upset, and rightfully so. So that talks about the unresolved crisis that we're seeing on the expanded tax credits and subsidies. Um, really, we're kind of in a holding pattern until we see what happens with that today. And I'll try to have an update for you guys soon. You're listening to the Mad Insurance Show, Making a Difference in Insurance. I'm your host, Justin Holland, here with Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. You're listening to us on KTSA, more than likely 550 radio here in San Antonio. And you can also see us online on the Connoisseur Media. I think they roll out a podcast or promote this show out nationally. And you can also visit us and look at our clips and our videos, prior videos online at youtube.com/at Mad Insurance Show. So I got to make sure I build up that plug. We're trying to build up our followers. We're a small potato on YouTube right now. And it took me weeks to just get that channel up, even though we had like 10 shows already recorded. So we've been real busy taking care of our clients, but I know the value that we bring and the awareness that we bring online, and I'm trying to step that up for our brokerage and our existing clients and hopefully our new clients. Hopefully this engages people out there and say, "Hey, Justin, I like your style. I like what you're talking about. Let's visit about my business. Let's visit about my family and the coverage and protection that we can do for them." If you've got questions or I've brought up something during the show that you want to have a discussion about, give me a call at the office, 210-880-5316, and would love to sit down and visit with you, have you stop by one of our 4 locations that we can visit in San Antonio. We've got one in McAllen, in the Rio Grande Valley that I've met with quite a few clients at. We're doing our best to try to make sure we're accessible in person. Although when we get to crunch time during these open enrollment times at the end of them, it's very difficult to try to meet in person unless you can meet me at my North San Antonio office or possibly my McAllen office. But give us a call. And again, Texas State Insurance Services handles the Affordable Care Act, Medicare, individual health insurance, as well as group benefits. That number there is 210-880 5316, or you can visit palmettolifegroup.com and or call our 800 number 877-357-5316 to visit about life insurance with living benefits, long-term care. We've brought up the fact that I'm a registered Social Security analyst, an RSSA, and there's only a few of us in San Antonio. We've got software that can help us kind of pinpoint what your survivorship or what your current Social Security dynamic looks like for that income that you want to have come in. And we've got some tools that can heat map on when's the best time to possibly enroll or wait, and pause until you take on your Social Security benefits. I brought up earlier that Palmetto Life Group, we take care of auto and home insurance as well as umbrella policies. If you have a commercial insurance policy you need us to take a look at, we've got a great team and partner to be able to help us take a look at that. And it's important to do your annual reviews on not just your health insurance, but your auto and home. A lot of people just kind of press the renew button on a lot of their insurance, and we want to sit down, become your agent of record, and help you on the long term. Okay, we're building these brokerages and our companies playing the long game, and we know the only way we're going to do that is sitting down, engaging, and brokering out your options every year. Sometimes those reviews are very quick. Hey, we're good to go. Don't see any really reason to change. Let's keep it rolling. And great. Sometimes we get a renewal or there's some claims that hit, and it's time to shop and take a look at options. We want to help you with that as well through Palmetto Life Group and Texas State Insurance Services. I brought up auto and home insurance just now, so let's talk about when is it the right time to review. Okay, I am visiting with hundreds and hundreds of health insurance clients and reminding them that we can help out with auto and home and umbrella policies, and it just makes sense for us to help them with that review annually during this time of year because we're already addressing it. We'll get a snapshot, depending on when their plan renews. That's one thing, but I think it's a great strategy to have a health insurance broker that's already helping out with your health insurance, help with your insist and take care of and look out for you on your auto and home. As long as it's a broker, you've got specific insurance agents that are agents of specific companies. Okay, your big namers out there, and then you got brokers that broker it out to even some of those big name insurance companies and some of those smaller companies that can provide some value and savings for the insurance that's just right for your needs. So when we talk about home and auto and and the umbrella policies, there was some market volatility there for the past few years. It seems like that's kind of stabilized a little bit in the industry. So this is a great time to review and take a look at those options. Um, and the fact that if you've got a full service agent and broker, you'll have the peace of mind that you like what they're doing already for you, and you're going to get that same service and support from the same staff, ownership, and brokerage that you're dealing with as well. And what's nice is we can also take a look at bundling policies. A lot of times, myself included, I wasn't taking advantage of the fact that I could bundle my health insurance and I'm sorry, my home insurance and my auto insurance with the same carrier and get some savings there. That isn't always the case. Sometimes there's just not enough savings there, but it's important to take a look at it to see if there is, because it could be significant, or you just want to get, shave off a little bit more and make sure you're maximizing what your premium could be for the coverage you've got, and just make sure you don't have any exposure there. So that's important to take a look at right now. The one topic that I also want to bring up during the show is group benefits. Okay, employee benefits. We This was a challenging year for employee benefits, specifically the health insurance side of the business. A lot of times there's some stability on the ancillary products, the dental, the vision, the life insurance, the short-term and long-term disability, and the other ancillary products that are out there. Specifically, health insurance is the linchpin for a healthy and good benefits program for a small business. And I'll tell you, still to this day, I think I only had 5 out of the hundreds of clients that we've serviced on employee benefits that had a single digit increase. That they either got it right off the bat or we negotiated, down to a single digit increase. And that was a little scary, and you know, the carriers, I get it. They're trying to figure out and assess, their risk and who they can try to get aggressive on, what business they can buy and not. But man, did we had to move some of our valued clients to different carriers because the specific carrier that they're on, even if we addressed or fixed maybe some of the exposure that they had that went away, they just weren't budging. And on the flip side of that, we had some clients that, man, our long-term strategies paying off. I've got a company in South Texas that we engaged around this time last year, and they were with a big carrier, big name carrier, and we had to go in there and we took over agent of record from another broker that had been servicing that. It's a large family-owned business, prominent name in South Texas, and we were able to assess the scenario for them, put together a dynamite benefits package with another carrier, a new carrier that's come to the industry, then provided some aggressive benefits. I will tell you there were some challenges for a few of the employees. A couple doctors weren't, cooperating with the network, or the carrier wasn't cooperating with them. We tried to address it the best we could, but the overall savings collectively for the bottom line of the company, for the bottom line of the employees that are having to, pay a percentage of their premiums as well. It was a great move. Now, we're fast forward to today, we're looking at the renewal, and there's a good chance we're going to go back to the carrier that they were. Okay, and we've helped create not probably the healthiest enrollment. I think there could be more employees that are engaged on the census for enrollment, but we've got savings. Okay. That's huge. So that's a win for our client, because not only this time last year did we negotiate a stronger ancillary enrollment for those employees and for that company, but we had a strategy to say, hey, listen, let's pivot here for this year. Okay. And then let's address it come the new year. And we'll see if we make any changes, or if we need to make any changes based on how we helped service the account and address some of the risk in the account, and it paid off. So those are good meetings. Those are the meetings that we strive for every one of our clients. Sometimes it's not the case. We've got challenges with the carrier. You've got a high claimant on there that can derail a small group, like that. But if we're proactive, we're engaging with the client, we can do that. So that's one quick scenario on a group benefits plan where we engaged them a year ago, back in December of 24, and we've got a great renewal and strategy going into the next year and the years to come. And that's what we're focused on for our group benefit clients. The another scenario we had, another South Texas client, is they were facing almost a 50% increase, and the carrier was just not budging off of that. And even though we were justifiably negotiating and bringing some receipts, so to speak, that's the big word that everybody's talking about, bringing your receipts on saying, hey, listen, it just doesn't justify that increase. You guys got to do better for our client here on their employee benefits plan, specifically the health. They didn't budge. So luckily, we had another major carrier say, you know what? We've got a program. This is where we're going to be at. There was savings there, significant savings for the client, because this client is actually covering 100% of the premium for their employees for the base plan. And anything that we can do to try to offset that absolutely helps out the group client. So that was a good win as well. So if you're interested in kind of seeing where we can help out group benefits wise on a strategy there, we'd love to visit with you, whether you're a small, mid, or large group. And we've got some great partners that help us and a great team that really dives in and sees where we can build a strategy for the long term. Um, Sometimes there's not an immediate solution, but we say, hey, this is what we can do to get you there. And we engage the client. They become, our health insurance client, our benefits clients, and we become the agent of record for them. And we've got a great reputation with that. Okay. It's not perfect. Sometimes, we don't get the renewals we don't like. There's some challenges there in our industry, but we're always going to work extremely hard and provide every solution and opportunity for a solution for your company. So, a couple things that I wanted to visit with there on employee benefits for our clients out there that need it. So, if you're an HR director, you're a company owner, give us a call. Texas State Insurance Services 210-880-5316. You can visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. You can see our credentials. We can provide referrals, anything you need to be able to justify or size us up, so to speak, on how we can help um, with your employee benefits plan. And maybe you're struggling with the renewal increases out there. Let's take a look at that. Some plans for our small groups, believe it or not, we've actually had to eliminate and say, hey, we just can't compete with the Affordable Care Act rates that are going to be more affordable and reasonable for that segment of client employees that they're helping with. And we say, hey, listen, let's go individual health insurance right now, and then we can always come back to employee benefits health insurance later. Those are real solutions that we're having to put together for our small group clients. Okay. As much as they want to help subsidize and offer a great, robust health insurance offering, it's been very challenging to review those options or provide options that are reasonable for the employer to subsidize to bring those costs down for the employees. I will tell you, I think it bears repeating. Dependence on employee plans. I'm sorry, employer-sponsored plans with through groups. It's always a challenge to add a spouse, children, one or the other, or both onto a employee's plan because those premiums are just brutal. And there was the family glitch that came to fruition. It was 12 years in the making or 10 years in the making. About 36 months ago, they finally fixed it. And what that opened up was that allowed for those employees that were struggling to put their family members on a plan for their employer sponsor plan because of the cost. We can now, in a lot of cases, get the spouse and dependent children onto an individual plan. Now, it's not going to be identical, or networks might not be the same as what the employee would be on his employer sponsored coverage. But when we can dramatically lower the increase in premium, that's something they need to consider. And I bring this up a lot. We had an employee that reached out to me. They were like, Justin, hey, this is an affordable plan for me, but it's not affordable to add the rest of my family members. What can you do to help me? And a lot of times, most of the time, we can shop individual health insurance and it's going to be more affordable to park the family and family members over there. Not always, but most of the time. I will tell you, I brought up on this show those expanded tax credits and subsidies. That was a huge factor as well in helping provide affordable insurance for the other family members. Because sometimes you've got a joint income of two family members, and that can family of 4 or 5, and you've got a family income of 120 plus, which is not uncommon. That's that sweet spot or threshold where people are going to get cut off around that. I don't know the exact number, but that's close to it. And I just, it's sad because I know that that's going to affect a handful of the people that took advantage of the family glitch once they fixed that and allowed their family members to go into an individual plan. And many of them just aren't going to qualify anymore. And they've got to struggle with the fact, hey, do we go uninsured for my family members? Or do I have to put them all on my employer sponsored group plan for an additional, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 a month? And that's a lot of money. just to insure the family. In some cases, those family members have a serious medical situation for a loved one that's on the plan, and they need that coverage, and they just got to figure out how to pay for it or go into debt to pay for it. Man, I was looking at the debt. People are going into debt to DoorDash and bring food to their home. Okay, that's a mounting thing. I can't imagine what the statistics are going to look like. I'll try to have that on for the next show on what the medical debt looks like. You got student loan debt out there. Health insurance is something that just needs to get corrected and provide some solutions on alternatives. And you've got individuals out there that are really healthy and are like, "Hey, I don't need health insurance. I shouldn't have to pay this amount of money just for the God forbid situation." I get it. So let's come up with some solutions for those individuals that just want catastrophic coverage and care. But let's also come up with solutions for that individual that, their kids get sick quite a bit. They go to the doctor a handful of times a quarter, and they got the broken bones, and they need some help with urgent care copays, or maybe a small inpatient outpatient surgery. Something's got to work for them as well. And then you've got individuals that are really sick. Maybe that was from their lifestyle, or maybe they just got a bad shake, or a roll on the cards here, and they just got a bad hand health wise, and it can be hereditary, and it could be based on their own vices or anything like that. But let's see how we can help that risk pool of individuals as well. And let's just call it what it is, the uninsurable. They wouldn't meet underwriting guidelines. So hopefully when I get to visit with some of our congressmen and representatives, that I'm not calling them out on the show, but I'm just providing awareness. Hey, this is what I see that you're doing for the situation. Can we visit a little bit more? But we've got to focus on those really healthy people that unfortunately sometimes get bad news and they need affordable coverage for having maybe a high deductible plan and exposure. We've got individuals that need the day to day doctor care. They got a family, maybe just themselves have a chronic condition, and they go to the doctor once a month, a couple times a quarter, and they need that help on the specialist. And then we've got that critical, chronic, terminal illness where it could be detrimental to keep these individuals alive. Um, and that's a segment of the health insurance industry. So maybe there's some solutions on all segments. I don't know. There used to be risk pools before I got in. Right when I got in the insurance industry is when the Affordable Care Act came to fruition, and it looked like there were state risk pools for insurance for those that were high risk that needed additional help. I will tell you, I get where Texas does not want to expand Medicaid for adults. It's typically, children, pregnant women, or those that are on Medicare, but at a significantly low income that needs to be subsidized to provide Medicaid support there. But I think there needs to be a window on those adults that just can't work, and they've got a legitimate situation to where they don't can't get Medicaid. They don't make enough money to get a subsidized plan for their affordable insurance. Where's a sweet spot there? That little sweet spot too. There's a cliff, man, I need to get some graphs up on the shows for online. But there's a cliff, of what's $15,600. You've got to make a minimum income to qualify for subsidized affordable health insurance. Okay. You've got a cliff that can go off that you don't make enough money to qualify for health insurance. And then you got a cliff where you make too much money, where these expanded tax credits had actually helped. And you do qualify and you don't qualify for health insurance based on that cliff. So I think that needs to get revamped. I saw online a video. CNBC had a interview. I think it was the CEO or president of Oscar Health, and he just said the system needs to be, redone. And I can't say that I don't disagree with him, but I just don't know if that's possible. I think we've had 12 years of the Affordable Care Act. We've got, Medicare that got revamped years ago prior to before I engaged the business, and I'm dealing with the changes that we have for Medicare now because of that. But just it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I think it should be a priority. You look at all these political topics going on overseas, south of the border, north of the border, and we can't fix the health insurance situation here. We can't we I mean, we got a lot of smart people here in the United States. I would think that we could get to the table with something and try to remove a lobbying effort, although, hey, I get the lobbying effort, but there's both sides to that. You got the insurance companies, you got the pharmaceutical companies, you've got agent brokers like us that have a lobbying effort because we're an advocate of the client themselves as well. Um, and we're seeing firsthand what's happening to our clients on the affordability, the coverage you're not getting. So I'm hoping that not only will us as agent brokers have a voice out there for this that we talk about for our clients, but I hope these legislatures know our clients are their constituents and they're struggling. And it's not just the Affordable Care Act situation that we're dealing with. It's Medicare, it's group employee benefits that are getting rocked. Um, it's kind of just come full circle, and I'm optimistic that we can get to the table with some solutions there. And might not happen overnight, obviously. Excuse me, but hopefully it can happen sooner than later. And I hope that resonates for you on the show. You're listening to the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. I'm your host, Justin Holland. We've had a show here today that I've been talking about. Excuse me, I'm fixing to lose my voice. I've talked to so many clients for months now, and we're ending off our enrollment periods for Medicare and individual health and our group clients. And I think it's finally catching up with me on me losing my voice. But that's why I got a little cough here. But the Mad Insurance Show that you're listening here on KTSA and on YouTube is just to provide value regarding insurance, everything insurance. We've talked about auto insurance, homeowners insurance, umbrella policies. We've talked about the health insurance, individual plans for individuals and families. We've talked about Medicare plans for seniors, as well as the employee benefits plans for those small and large companies that are trying to offer a healthy benefits plan to their valued and trusted employees. So hopefully this show helps provide that value. The number to reach us, either for the show, if you have a question for the show, or just a question about your insurance in general, give us a call at the Texas State Insurance Services office. That phone number is 210-880-5316, or you can visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. And we'd love to visit about your health insurance options, employee benefits plans, and where we can help you with that. And that pertains to individual, group benefits, and Medicare. Palmetto Life Group is a division that we created for life insurance, for long term care planning, for Social Security planning, some retirement efforts, as well as Group 401ks. We got a great provider on that to take a look at. And then also the auto, home, and umbrella policies, as well as commercial. So that number to reach our Palmetto Life Group office is 877-357-5316, or visit at palmettolifegroup.com. So I've talked a lot about I spent a lot of time on the show today on our legislatures, our congressional leadership here out of San Antonio that I hope to visit. I've tried to visit with as recently as yesterday, and we'll have a handle on what the health insurance situation is going to look like in the years to come, or if there's going to be any temporary solutions for what we're facing legislatively there. But if anybody, has a contact into Tony Gonzalez, Joaquin Castro, Chip Roy, Henry Quaid, Greg Cassar, I'd love to visit with them, sit down, let them know what's happening to the constituents out there regarding their health insurance. I'm sure they already know; they see the headlines. But I think if we have a grasp on what is really happening out there and all the scenarios that we're seeing, we can hopefully come to some solutions there and really help out not just here the local San Antonio market that we service in South Texas, but nationally. Okay, I'm hearing of issues in other parts of the country where there's plans that are just getting eliminated completely and leaving millions of people out to dry to try to focus or create or find a solution for them. And the Medicare.gov, can only help out so much. That's where an agent broker that knows the market, that knows the carriers, can provide that solution. And I will tell you, I really feel that the agent broker has kind of been attacked in the industry. I say attack's a hard word. I just think that we provide a little bit more value or a lot more value than maybe be seen or known to our legislatures or even the carriers. I think some of the carriers value us as agent brokers out there and see what we do for the consumer. They see what the growth we bring to the table for them. But, if you're a publicly traded company or you've got to focus on profits, we can be expendable. And that's the risk I'm taking as an insurance agent. But we love what we do. We're passionate about it. We're helping a lot of people, and it can be exhausting at times. And I talk to other sideline agents in the industry, and kind of just checking in. Hey, you doing okay over there? How's it going? How's the business? And we get to vent a little bit and say, hey, man, this is a challenge here. We can see an adjustment here. Um, I'm optimistic. I'm looking forward to bringing on some good people with our growing brokerage to help service our existing clients and grow this brokerage out for San Antonio and all of South Texas. I think a lot of people try to spread themselves too thin nationally. I really want to help our own backyard, and there's plenty of business for us to help. And you're listening to an agent broker that wants that business. We want to help you. And if we can't provide a solution right now, at least maybe we become the agent of record and we provide a long-term solution later down the road. And we're playing the long game here. I'm not just trying to get immediate clients. Been doing this 12 years now, passionate about it. Made some sacrifices with my family for this business, and luckily they've supported me off of that. So that's important to know. But a lot of changes could be coming. I think we're seeing a significant disruption in the individual health insurance. We saw a little disruption with the Medicare situation here. I think South Texas and San Antonio market here locally fared a little bit better than maybe other parts of the country. But it is definitely interesting times, a sign of the times on what we're dealing with here. But the Texas State Insurance Services or I'm sorry, the Mad Insurance Show is here just to provide value. Hopefully it's providing you value here on this video that you're watching or listening to us online or through the radio. The Mad Insurance Show is backed by Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. And again, I'm your host, Justin Holland. We want to help you provide some creative solutions for your health insurance, for your Medicare plans, for your employee benefits plans, as well as your life insurance, long-term care. I didn't get to really talk about life insurance, but I'm a big advocate of making sure you shop life insurance. If you don't have it in place, reach out to us and we can try to help you get life insurance in place. If you have life insurance you've had for decades or for years, it might be time to make an adjustment and change because it's not just about dying anymore, it's about living. And you want to make sure that you're prepared for long-term care needs because when you retire into Social Security, and if you're dependent on that income or you're retired and just got Medicare for your health insurance, make no mistake, you have exposure for long-term care. Okay. And if you're an employer out there, whether it's a small or large business, there's long-term care solutions that we can bring to the table for your employees. There's a lot of individual or handful of individual options that we can bring specifically to the individual client. But there's some cool stuff out there that you can offer long-term care wise for protection for your trusted and valued employees. Let us know. We'd love to visit with you and show you what those options could look like. But I want to wrap up the show and just thanking everybody for listening today. I'm exhausted. It's been a long week. It's going to be another long week into the deadline for the Affordable Care Act. But if you're listening to this show and you're within the deadline for your ACA coverage and need a review, give us a call. I will be working through Saturday, Sunday, and Monday till midnight, making sure we help out our individual clients review their options. And that number is 210-880-5316, or visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. Just one quick reminder again, the Affordable Care Act deadline is going to be the 15th of December for a January 1st effective date. If for some reason you go after the 15th of December, then we can still help you up until January 15th for a February 1st effective date. So we still got a window there to help you out with individual plans if you're just not sure where you stand, or maybe somebody helped you prior or nobody helped you prior, and it's time to engage us as your broker and agent to help out with that. But thanks for visiting and listening to the Mad Insurance Show. It's Justin Holland. We'll hopefully have a guest on for next week's show and future shows to come. And I can't thank everybody for listening. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Take care, everybody.